Threatening to arrest people.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Perry.
Yeah.
For what?
For
Sitting in the mayor's office? I mean, sitting in front of the mayor's office there? And they already detained, they already got,
David.
All the mayor had to do was talk to us. You can't give us that.
Are you with us?
Charlie!
What's going on?
Hey, you missed it.
Well, I heard that.
Yeah, sit in.
Threatening to arrest people.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Perry.
Yeah.
For what?
For
Sitting in the mayor's office? I mean, sitting in front of the mayor's office there? And they already detained, Charlie!
What's going on?
Hey, you missed it.
Well, I heard that.
Yeah, sit in.
Threatening to arrest people.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Perry.
Yeah.
For what?
For
Sitting in the mayor's office? I mean, sitting in front of the mayor's office there? And they already detained, they already got,
David.
All the mayor had to do was talk to us. You can't give us that.
Are you with
I'm
us?
sorry, but that's
I'm with
despicable.
QB.
You guys are
You want a copy of the
arrogant.
letter?
These are the letters we're here to deliver
trying to get to
letters
the mayor.
from the community of Albuquerque to Mayor
Now.
Berry, who refuses
What
to
do we
leave.
want? Justice! What do we want now?
What do we want?
Justice!
Why do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want it?
Now!
No, there's many.
What do we want it?
Hi, Gilbert. So I'm just asking Chris if I can just go over and talk to my wife and let the kids. Some of the people here will send me there. If I can talk to them. Listen, I don't know why you're separating me from everybody else.
Let's de-escalate
Yeah.
all the time.
All we want is one 5-minute interview. One interview.
Bring him out for 5 minutes.
Let him talk to the people. Let him talk to the
He's
people.
the mayor. He needs to show us he cares about his city. He don't give a shit about nothing but scratching his ass.
He needs to show his
He
face.
works for
He's
us.
the mayor for the rich only. For the rich only.
Our kids are over
No,
here.
I don't
There's
there's no inciting going on. If he wants to put me under arrest and take me out of his office, he can do that right now. Otherwise, I'm going to walk over with the other people and sit down peacefully. I'm going to go sit down. And you can direct him to do that.
If you need to talk about
Thank you.
This is the mayor for the people, right? The mayor for the rich people. Yep. For the rich people, for the bad cops. For the rich people and the bad cops and the bad supervisors. That's all he is, a rich person for.
This office is a crime scene. This is a crime office.
This is a public place. This is a public place. This is a crime scene. You're gonna look good on the news. You're gonna look good nationwide. You're gonna look good nationwide. Explain this to the populace of Albuquerque.
The crime scene being shut down. The mayor needs to fire the mayor needs to fire the consultants who are working for Taser.
The only business that happens in this office is a crime against people, crime against James Boyd, Mary Hawks, Alan Gomez, Ralph Chavez, Daniel Tillison, Jacob Michelin. This is the business of this office. Committing crimes against the people, and we will interrupt that business.
This is not an ivory tower. You don't sit up here unaccountable. You work for the people, in case you haven't forgotten that. Apparently you have, Perry.
We are the
Never worked for
people.
the people. Whose office? Whose office? Who's mayor? Who's mayor?
The mayor is lying. People are dying. The mayor is
lying. People are dying. The mayor is lying. The people are dying. The mayor is lying. The people are dying. The mayor is lying. The people are dying. The mayor is lying. People are dying. The mayor is lying. People are dying. The mayor is lying. The people are dying. The mayor is lying. People are dying. The mayor is lying.
No justice!
No peace!
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 Come
on, what is it gonna take to get to see the mayor? He's never been seen. Is he still alive? Is he there?
I write to demand justice for the victims of police violence in Albuquerque. There are many people who deserve blame for the frightening pattern of police violence unleashed on the poor, the mentally ill, and the homeless in our city. Police Chief Gordon Eden and his predecessor Ray Schultz belong to a long tradition of criminally incompetent leadership at APD. A tradition that nurtures a culture of aggressive policing and an expectation of impunity. They don't fire officers who engage in routine use of unjustified policing. They promote them.
And give them a bonus.
District Attorney Kerry Brandenburg has never prosecuted a single police officer involved in a fatal shooting, despite the fact that the Department of Justice concluded most have been unjustified. Attorney General Gary King has never launched a single criminal investigation of anyone at APD involved in the many crimes described in the DOJ report. APD kills with impunity because Brandenburg and King refuse to hold them accountable. But if one person holds ultimate responsibility, it is you, Mayor Richard Barry, wherever you are hiding. You Mayor Barry, are the captain of this conspiracy of cowardice comprised of Eden, Brandenburg, and King. You have constituted and continue to defend a police department that routinely uses unjustified lethal force and then blames the victims. You tried to block the DOJ investigation, but now pretend to support its efforts. You, Mayor Barry, do not care about justice. You care only about yourself. We came to your office today to demand that you fire Gordon Eden and that you publicly call for the arrest of all who engage in unconstitutional policing. But we have little faith you will do these things. At every step, you have refused to meet your legal and moral obligations. Last paragraph. Police violence in Albuquerque is not new, and neither are your dishonest and self-serving policies. But one thing is new, and it is our resolve to interrupt business as usual. Read yours.
What's wrong with that?
What do we want?
Justice! Now! Justice! Now!
What do we want?
Justice! Now!
The mayor is lying!
The mayor is lying!
The mayor is lying!
People are dying!
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 No justice!
No peace!
Let me read my letter. I'll read my letter to the mayor. Dear Mayor Barry.
So we want to have a press conference now.
Let me get some light.
So just those that we're going to speak.
Just getting light for you.
Yeah, hold it for me. Since you have assumed office in 2009, this city and the APD under your failed leadership has become the disgrace of the nation. This will not change until you do the following immediately. Terminate the contracts of Cincinnati consultants Thomas Stryker and Scott Greenwood.
Yeah!
To replace Mr. Stryker, call upon the City Council to conduct interviews and then hire a former and clearly well-respected former APD officer such as Paul Hay, Daniel Klein, Thomas Grover, or some other good one. To replace Mr. Greenwood, call upon the City Council to conduct interviews and then hire a respected local civil rights attorney such as Ms. Carrie Morrissey, an ACLU attorney, volunteer, or one proposed by Mr. Simonson, or some other local and qualified one. Fire CAO Perry, APD Chief Gordon, AP Deputy Commander Robert Huntsman, attorneys David Turk and John Dubois, IRO Robin Hammer, and our 3 IR investigators. Immediately demand the prosecution of all APD officers who have shot or brutalized citizens since you assumed office, where there are no recordings that confirm their actions were ever justified.
Which is complete nonsense.
Discipline immediately all of the other responding APD officers who have failed to also record the above egregious officers' actions, deeming them also a conscious obstruction of justice. Resign immediately after you have completed all of the above actions. The above actions are necessary if we are to ever have a safe and respected city, something that you should also desire if you have the welfare of all city residents as your primary goal.
Woo! Good job.
Nice one, Sylvia.
Next.
Where's the rest of the letters?
Where's the letter?
What was it?
I have the letter.
Somebody else read a letter, starting now.
What is wrong with that mayor that can't speak to the people? We the people are only asking to get a chance to talk to him. We're not asking for any money, we're asking to speak to him. People sabi, don't you comprende?
No comprenden.
They don't understand or care.
Mayor Barry said James Boyd's death was a game changer. The game has not changed. Ask the family of Alfred Red Wine.
They're upset that we've inconvenienced their meeting.
Ask Mary Hawks'
What about the
family.
lives of the family
Ask
members
Armin
who lost
Martin's family.
lost their loved
Ask
ones?
Ralph Chavez's family. The game has not changed.
Those people and their loved ones are inconvenienced for the rest of their lives. This is just one day.
Where is Alan Armijo, who's supposed to be representing constituents? What representation does he provide?
None.
None.
Come on, Mayor Barry, come talk to
He
us.
represents the mayor.
Come talk to us, Mayor.
Back that way?
He's not coming. The mayor's never going to come. Stay here.
You're a coward, Mayor Barry.
I heard Rob Perry tell people we're emptying out the offices, so they've left.
They're going out the back door.
Oh, well, that's
That's what they always do.
that is so courageous.
This is what democracy looks like, folks. This is what it looks like. You engage with your constituents. You don't run away from them.
It's a Barry M.O.
He wants to meet with the neighborhood associations. I belong to one.
We did it last year, we did it again this year.
Let's have others read their letters. How about a woman?
What's wrong with
I have a letter.
Yeah.
There's a letter right here.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Dear Mayor Barry, I'm writing to express my concern about the role of the police force in our community. It seems APD has shifted from a protect and serve role toward a militarized us versus them role. This is a time when your leadership is sorely needed, yet you are largely silent. When citizens try to express their dissatisfaction with the APD and your silence through nonviolent protest, they are met with new sets of rules and obstacles to freedom of expression.
Mix them up as it goes along.
I don't see how we can rely on DOJ to solve what is a community problem. Let's figure out a way to address the probable roots of this problem. A culture of violence and militarization in the APD, homelessness, mental illness, unemployment, and poverty among our citizens.
Very good.
Who's up next?
Jim? Mine isn't a letter so much as a list of demands. Number one, indictment.
Solutions.
Solutions is right. Good word. Indictments for all police who unconstitutionally brought about the deaths of those victims of officer-involved shootings. 2, resignation of Mayor Barry. With a small M. Resignation of No Good Perry, just plain small. Resignation indictment of Kerry Brandenburg. Firing of Gordon Eden and upper-level staff. Resignation of the 6 area commanders. Restructuring of city charter to provide for a city council, to mayor, to police chief hiring and firing protocol and chain of command. A POC with complete oversight authority that does not answer to the mayor or the chief of police. Independent review officer that does not answer to the mayor or the police or the city council, completely autonomous. More funding for our homeless programs, more funding for mental health programs, and quicker settlement of civil suits brought by families of the victims of officer-involved shootings.
Now, let's have Jim.
No media censorship. Please come in. Motivación, por favor. No media censorship. Please come in. Let's not censor the media. Let's not censor the media.
This is a public meeting.
The media.
You're allowed to come in.
That's real funny.
How is the censorship of the media?
That's
not the door.
Stand right there. Speak to them. Let's speak to them.
¿Qué queremos?
Justicia.
¿Cuándo?
Ahora.
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 I've got a letter. Who wants to hear it?
Read your letter.
All right.
Read it, sister.
Dear Mayor Barry, I am writing to you with a cry for help. After the continued fatal shootings by the APD since the April 10 Department of Justice findings that cited APD with a pattern of using excessive force, residents are afraid to call 911.
Yes, they are.
For fear the police will overreact, escalate the situation, and use deadly force, even when unnecessary. Albuquerque is in a crisis that is drawing national attention for our out-of-control police officers. I know you are in the process of trying to change this. However, in my humble opinion, the changes you are proposing and instituting are not enough. Specifically, police need to stop killing people.
Yeah.
Officers who use excessive force should be off the beat and badges removed.
Yes.
We need accountability for APD. Lapel video should be mandatory. If camera not turned on, officers should be dismissed immediately.
Yes.
The current police chief has promoted officers with a history of brutality and should be dismissed. Thank you for considering this urgent matter. Sincerely, Susan Skirman, resident of Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Justice please, justice denied.
Not even a little girl can come in, huh? That's about
To fight for that. She was afraid of the cops anyways. She was pushing away.
Whose office?
Our office.
Whose office?
Our office.
Whose office?
Our office.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is
What democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Whose office?
Our office.
Whose office?
Our office.
Whose office?
Our office.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
Who's got a letter?
Where's all the letters? Where are the letters?
Read a letter.
thoughtful citizens of Albuquerque come with their letters from Mayor Barry, Albuquerque Mayor Barry.
Where is Mayor Barry?
Where's
Where's
Barry?
Where's Barry?
Where's Barry?
Where's Barry? Where's Barry? Where's Barry? Where's Barry? Where's Barry? Where's Barry? Where's Barry? Where's Barry? Where's Barry? Where's Barry? Where's Barry?
He's a coward. He ran out the back door.
Jump you, Mayor!
Running away from his constituents.
He hasn't answered the public once.
Where's his transparency now?
His cowardice is transparent.
Is he going to negotiate with DOJ behind closed doors?
Yes.
Is he going to allow the community to participate?
No.
Everyone else in the doors, so I'm just kind of.
Is he going to hire more people that are consultants of Taser?
Yes.
Is he going to fire Gordon Eden?
No.
But he should.
Is he going to fire Rob Perry?
Yes!
That's me right there.
Oh, there he is. There he is. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hey Rob, this is what democracy looks like. This is democracy. Right here.
Open corner on the crime scene tape, Rob.
You'd rather call people a colored boy and stuff like you just did to me.
Sir, the killings need to end.
Jail killer cops! Jail killer cops!
$1 million.
Jail killer cops! 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 Jail I do.
There are many good cops.
Absolutely.
But then the bad cops are killing people.
Where are they?
Good cops need to speak up.
Yeah, where are they?
Good cops need to speak up.
Lapel cam videos.
What
What do we want?
Justice!
No, we want the lapel cam.
Justice and cameras!
And justice.
That's a trick question.
International gets broken.
This is Major Tim Gonterman, who tasered a homeless man in 2000.
Congratulations, Gonterman.
He was promoted to
still have
How much you make him tasered a homeless man's ear off? That homeless man, Jerome Hall, won a $300,000 federal jury award and then was shot and killed 1 week later. Jerome Hall never got his justice. Tim Gonterman got promoted.
Does he have both of his ears?
What? He doesn't use them.
That's a brutal cop.
Why has Jonathan Mitchell's murderer not been arrested yet?
Brutal cop.
Why?
Jail
He killed a
brutal
man.
cops.
A civilian killed a man. That's a case of selective justice.
He murdered.
Civilians' lives don't
Why
matter.
isn't an African-American Vietnam vet, Vincent Wood, investigated? Why did they murder him and not release the videos?
Vincent Wood was
Because they murdered him. That's why. They don't care. They don't care about black men of color. They don't care about veterans. They don't care about any damn person that's not wearing a blue uniform.
They don't care about the people.
And these good cops must be embarrassed about their leadership. I feel sorry for you. I really feel sorry for you.
I do too.
People like Gonterman, does he have his taser with him? Does Gonterman have his taser with him?
Apparently not. We still have yours.
Where's Mary Hawks? Where's the handgun that Mary Hawks was supposedly holding? Where is it?
We never see no word about the gun of Mary Hawks. Where did you get it? Where did you put it? Where is it? Where did it come from? We want information.
James Boyd was shot in the back. He was shot in the back. He was unarmed. Fire the two! We want those on videotape.
Mary Hawks was shot.
Mary Hawks was hunted for 3 hours.
Mary Hawks was hunted, beaten, then
She was shot in the back.
She was beaten. Fire the two! Where is that video camera? I want it. I want it now.
What do we want?
I want those.
Want the lapel camera!
Get him off the streets now.
Jeremy Deere makes over $100,000 a year.
Who's up?
To kill people.
His son was killed.
Jeremy Deere makes
Last time I saw him, he was
$100,000 a
over there.
year.
Fire the chief. Fire the brass. Fire the mayor. Fire the brass.
You're not letting him be.
Where's Mayor Barry?
Where's Mayor Barry?
Where's Mayor Barry? Where's Mayor Barry? Where's Mayor Barry?
That's illegal. It's illegal detention. They can't do that.
Oh, man. Can they lock the door?
Yeah, they blocked it out.
That's false
Three
arrest.
killings.
You can't do that.
What does that say? This is a rogue agency with no accountability. You're encouraging killings by not prosecuting killer cops.
No video since DOJ. No video since the
No video.
DOJ report has been released.
Made the call and closing down the building.
Fire Gordon Eden!
Fire Gordon Eden.
Fire Gordon Eden.
Fire Gordon Eden. Fire Gordon Eden. Fire Gordon Eden. Fire Gordon Eden.
Fire Gordon Eden. Fire Gordon Eden.
Fire Gordon Eden. Fire Gordon Eden. Fire Gordon Eden. Fire Gordon Eden. Fire Gordon Eden. Fire Gordon Eden. Fire Gordon Eden. Fire Gordon Eden. The city is doing a press conference downstairs. I think a couple people should go down.
Yes. Yeah, there should be down there.
Well, not our press conference. They're doing a press.
The city's doing damage control.
City's doing a press conference.
Damage control, so we should go down. Where's Mike Gomez?
Mike's down there in his own press conference. Call him. Call Chris.
Is Mike Gomez?
Tell Tony to call Chris.
Call Chris.
Joe, you have your phone. Call Chris.
Yeah.
Tell him he's doing a press conference.
Where's Mayor Barry?
Where is Mayor Barry? He's not downstairs at a press conference.
Last
I'm
week,
sure
last
that's
week, Mayor
true.
Barry had a meeting with
Hiding,
community people, but this is the real community.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
These are the ones that weren't invited.
He must be with the good cops, they're all hiding.
Yeah, if he had a spy, he would probably come out here and say something at least.
They have no sign. People work with me.
He's startled by loud noises.
He went out the back door.